Before we get into today's episode, quick disclaimer. I am not an attorney and I'm not a federal policy expert. I'm an esthetician, educator, spa professional, and podcast host who loves and cares deeply about our industry. This episode is for education and awareness. This is not legal advice. Also, this is a proposed rule, not a finalized law. So, the purpose of this episode is not to panic, it's to help us understand what's happening, why it matters, and what we can do while there is still time to speak up.
Gotta find beauty in the flow. The more you know, the more you glow. Take it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. We're empowered, intentional, doing so care. Elevate, share, get it all right here. Good vibes, good time. You know that we're all right. Everybody get your learn on.
Welcome back to the Learning Estheticians podcast, where education meets elevation and esties come to grow, glow, and get real. It's me, Jessica, and today's episode is a special industry alert. We're talking about the proposed do no harm rule, what it could mean for beauty school access, how it may affect new and existing estheticians, and why this is one of those moments where the beauty industry needs to use its voice, because we're not just licensed, we are learning. And today, learning means paying attention to what's happening outside of the treatment room. All right, y'all. So let me tell y'all how I even got this information on my radar. I was checking my email, doing what we all do, half reading throughout a million beauty emails, brand updates, product promos, class announcements, all the things. And then I saw this email from the ASCP. Y'all know I always mess that up and call it the ASPCA, but I am talking about the ASCP. At first, I almost treated it like one of those I'll read it later emails, the ones that you never actually come back to. But something about this subject actually made me stop. It was talking about the proposed federal rule that could threaten student loan access for beauty and wellness providers. And I was like, wait a minute, student loan access, beauty schools, like all of the things, like it really just got to me because I myself used student loans whenever I went to school. So I know it's something that is very, very important. So, when I read that this proposed rule could affect how future students access funding for beauty schools, I knew that we had to talk about it here because this is not just a school issue. This is not just a student loan issue. This is a beauty industry issue. So, let's get into it. What is the do no harm rule? Let's break this down in regular beauty professional language. The proposed rule is being called the do no harm rule. The basic idea is this: if a student borrows money to go to school, the program should help them earn enough after graduation for that debt to make sense. And on the surface, I think most of us can agree with that. We do want the students protected. We do not want people going into debt for programs that they did not prepare for. We do not want students graduating with loans, no clear career path, and no way to repay what they borrowed. So the concern is not the idea of protecting students. The concern is why this proposed rule measures whether a program is valuable. Okay. So, from what the ASCP and the AACS are explaining, the rule would look at graduate earnings and compare them to an earning benchmark. So, basically, the government is asking, are graduates from this program making enough money after school? If the program does not meet that standard, it could be labeled low earning. If it continues to fail, that program could lose access to federal student aid, including student loans and in some cases, Pell Grants. Now, here is where the beauty industry is saying, hold up, this does not fully fit how our careers work, because beauty careers do not always look traditional on paper. A new esthetician may graduate and start part-time. She may work the front desk until she gets fully booked. She may assist another provider. She may work commission. She may take clients 2 days a week while keeping another job. She may be building her clientele slowly while learning how to consult, rebook, retail, and find her specialty. I know, I've been there. This does not mean that school failed her. This may mean that she is in a building phase, and we know that this industry has a building phase. Year one is often the year where you learn who you are behind the table. You're learning your hands, you're learning people, you're learning confidence, you're learning how to talk about money, how to stop undercharging, and learning services that you actually love. Then, over time, things start to click. You find your lane, you build trust, your clientele grows, you learn your pricing, you become more confident in your result, and you start to understand the business side. But that growth does not always happen immediately, and it does not always show up neatly in a wage formula. Our industries include tips, commission, booth rent, suite rentals, freelancing, self employment, part time schedules, retail sales, and entrepreneurship. Y'all. So, if the formula is only looking at early earnings without understanding how beauty professionals actually grow, it can make the career look less valuable than it really is. And that's where the stats get serious. The AACS estimates that 92.5% of cosmetology programs and 90% of massage schools could fail under the proposed measures. ASCP also shares that analysis shows over 92% of beauty schools and over 89% of massage schools could lose funding within 2 years if these rules were implemented and written today. That is not a small number. This is not something that we can just scroll past because if schools lose access to federal aid, this does not just impact the schools, it impacts the students, it impacts future estheticians, and it impacts the salons and spas. It impacts hiring, it impacts clients, it impacts small businesses. Y'all, we're talking about the whole beauty community here. And this is personal for me because beauty school was not just something cute for me. For me, an esthetician became a door to a new career, flexibility, purpose, feeding my family, and serving women, a door to building something with my hands, my knowledge, personality, and my passion. So, when we talk about student loan access, we are not just talking about paperwork, we are talking about access. We are talking about who gets to enter the industry, who gets to start over, who gets to become licensed, who gets to become the next esthetician, waxer, lash artist, educator, school owner, spa owner, or beauty entrepreneur. And I do not want future professionals shut out because a formula does not understand the rhyme or reason. So, with that being said, what can we actually do about it? Let's go over to the lessons lounge and get into it.
Hey y'all, we're the Learning Estheticians and class is in session.
Let's talk about it. Gaps in your schedule, clients who don't rebook, tight margins, and high processing fees.
Sound familiar?
Because when you're running your own aesthetics business, you don't have time to sit around trying to figure out where you could be making more money.
That's why we love Gloss Genius, the system that helps you bring in more revenue and get back more time.
It fills your calendar, helps rebook clients, and upsells your high margin services automatically.
Plus, their point of sale helps you earn more while saving money on fees.
And they've got all your HIPAA compliant tools you need for charting, consents, and client records without all that admin chaos.
So if you're ready for more revenue and more time for everything else,
See it for yourself. Use code LEARNING at glossgenius.com for 50% off your first 2 months of their gold or platinum plan.
class is dismissed, honey.
So now let's get into what does this actually mean for us. First, if you are a current student, or a future esthetician, this matters because financial aid may be a part of your access. If schools lose access to federal loans or grants, some students may have fewer ways to pay for school. That could mean higher out of pocket costs, harder payment plans, more private loans, fewer class options, or fewer schools in certain areas. And we have to be honest about who usually feels that first. It's the mom trying to build a more flexible career, the woman leaving a job that is daily draining her, a student who does not have family money, the person choosing beauty school instead of a traditional 4-year college, the future esthetician who has the passion but needs a pathway. So if you are in school or thinking about school, your voice matters. You are not too new to speak up. You are one of the people this could affect the most. Now, if you're already licensed, this still matters. Your license may not be affected today, but the future of the industry around you can be. If fewer students can afford school, fewer people graduate. If fewer people graduate, there are fewer trained professionals entering salon spaces, spas, lash studios, wax studios, clinics, barber shops, and wellness spaces. This affects hiring, it affects mentorship, it affects business growth, and it affects the quality of the workspace. And it affects clients who are looking for skilled licensed professionals. For anyone who wants to train, hire, teach, expand, open a school, grow a team, or leave a legacy in this industry, we need people coming behind us. The pipeline starts with access to education. And that is why this conversation is bigger than beauty school. It's about workforce, small business, women entrepreneurship, and community care. It is about the way beauty schools give people a real path to build something on our own. Now, let's talk about our rights. When a federal agency proposes a rule, the public has the right to comment. This means you do not have to be a lawyer, you do not have to be a school owner, you do not have to know a single political term. You can be a student, a graduate, a licensed esthetician, an educator, a spa professional, a salon owner, or someone whose life has been touched by this industry. You can tell your story. You can explain what beauty school made possible for you. You can explain why early earnings do not always reflect long term success in beauty. You can explain why the formula should be revised so it actually reflects how beauty and wellness careers work. You have the right to contact your elected officials. Your U.S. House representative represents your local district. Your 2 U.S. senators represent your state. We can share information. We can ask our schools what we know, talk to our classmates, post in professional groups, and we can each encourage each other to submit our own comments. No copy and paste, no fear mongering, no drama, real stories, real impacts, real action. Now, let's get into our homework, and I'll tell you guys what you can really, really do to see a change. Now, here's your homework, guys, and I really want you to take this serious. First, educate yourself. If you haven't seen the email from the ASCP, I'll be dropping that in the Learning Estheticians Facebook group. And also, I'll be dropping the information from the AACS. So look up the Department of Education's proposed rule. Ask your current or former school if they are aware of it. You can submit a public comment to the Department of Education, and the docket number is ED 2026 OPE 0100. Of course, I'll have all of this listed in the show notes, and I'll also have it listed on the Learning Estheticians Facebook page. Comments are due by May 20th, 2026, and you can submit your comment through regulations.gov. And please do not copy and paste anyone's exact statement. The ASCP specifically warns against that because identical comments, can be grouped together. Your personal story is your power. In your comments, start with who you are. Did it help you provide for your family? Did it help you become self-employed? Then explain why the formula may not fit our industry. Talk about part-time work, tips, commission, booth rental, regional wage differences, and the fact that beauty income often grows over time. Then make your ask. Ask the Department of Education to revise the formula so it fairly accounts for beauty and wellness careers. Ask them to protect access to aesthetics, cosmetology, barbering, massage, and wellness education. Ask them not to close the door on students who need career training. Third, contact your U.S. House representative or your two U.S. senators. Tell them this proposed rule could affect beauty school access, students, small businesses, and future workforce in the community. Fourth, contact your current or former beauty school and ask them, are they aware of the proposed do no harm rule? Are they submitting a public comment? Are they informing current students and alumni? Do they have any guidance or data that you should know about? And fifth, share this episode with another beauty professional. Send it to your SD bestie, send it to your instructor, send it to someone thinking about beauty school. Post it in your professional groups because we do not need to panic. So, with that being said, guys, this one was a doozy, and I had to jump on really quickly and share this information with you guys because it was so important. As an esthetician, this industry has changed my life, and this industry has created entrepreneurs. It helped women feed their family. It has given people second chances. It has built confidence, career, communities, and businesses. So when something could affect access to beauty education, we cannot afford to ignore it. And this proposed do no harm rule may have been created with student protection in mind, but if the formula does not understand how beauty and wellness careers actually grow, it could end up hurting the very students it's supposed to protect. So, this is our moment to speak with facts, professionalism, and love for the industry. Beauty school access matters, the next generation matters, and our voices matter before decisions are made without us. With that being said, guys, we are going to wrap up the episode today. If you haven't heard our previous episode, we are doing a raffle on the Learning Estheticians Facebook group. We want you guys to leave your reviews, whether it be on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Leave us a review. Give us some feedback, what you think about the podcast. And then if you screenshot that review, go onto the Learning Estheticians Facebook group page and leave your screenshot. We are doing a raffle, and lunch is going to be on Alexis and I, whether we have to Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay, whatever. We will send you some money to get some lunch on the Learning Estheticians. We absolutely love you guys, and this was a special edition. We'll be back to regular scheduled programming on the next episode. And if anything else pops up that I feel like you guys really need to know, I will be tuning in. So get back on the bus and head on out, guys. And with that being said, everybody, get your learn on. Hey.
Gotta find beauty in the flow. The more you know, the more you glow. Take it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Feeling powered, intentional, doing so care. Elevate, share, get it all right here. Good vibes, good time. You know that we're alright. Everybody get your learn on. Everybody get your grow on, go on. Everybody get your shine on. Right here's where it's at all the time. Oh, everybody get your learn on. Everybody get your grow on, go on. Everybody get your shine on.